This BHF is a youth organization. We tried as much as possible to bring to the forefront the issues that the youths are going through and how to resolve the issues. We're trying as much as possible to say how we can intervene because we believe so much that the future of our nation and the future of the world hangs on how far we are able to bring our youths. And so, on today's book review, which I will aside last week, we are looking at one of Pastor Elo's book, Contending with the Dragons. Contending with the Dragons. It's a wonderful book. It's a book that talks about the three major issues or the four major issues that we seem to be going through today, that the youths are going through today. The issue of drug abuse, the issue of Yahoo, as cybercrime, as it is known, also the issues of trying as much as possible to talk about cult activities and how to go about them. So, first and foremost, I want to say that it's quite unfortunate what's going on now. There seems to be an increase in drug activities, an increase in cult activities, an increase in violent activities across the nations of the earth. We saw what happened about 2 days ago in the US, where a young man of 23 years old, 22, 23 years old in Minneapolis, decided to go to the Catholic Church in the morning during praying hours and open fire. Instantly, two children were lost, 17 were injured, and two children died. The investigation is still going on, but you see that these things are not just in Nigeria. There are things that are happening across the nations of the earth. There seems to be a violent reaction from the youth population. And I'm saying this now because I know if something is not really done to tame it, once it comes into the country, it comes into Nigeria as a nation, it's going to be worse off because we don't have enough intelligence, security apparatus to be able to tackle such violent crime. I remember saying this some time ago before the issue of the kidnapping came up, and it's more like a business now. The issue of kidnapping is more like a business as far as Nigeria is concerned. We see situations where people are being kidnapped, they are asking millions and billions and millions and millions and millions of naira. Of recent, we had the NSSA were able to intercept, or rather, they were able to arrest two of the prime leaders of this kidnapping syndicate, who happens to be an offshoot of the Islamic State of West Africa, Al-Qaeda. And more is coming out. It's getting worse. I mean, a friend of mine, the younger brother they were being kidnapped, taken to the bush. He was on his way from Benin to Auchi. He was being kidnapped, taken to the bush. I think there's a kind of initial resistance and the rest, and he was shot. They shoot him in the leg, several times in the leg. I'm almost condemned the leg. And it's still undergoing treatment now. Unfortunately, we live in a nation where there are no room or governmental help in handling such issues. Those that are kidnapped and they are running around looking for ransom. They don't get any assistance from the government or whatsoever. The government behaves as if they don't care. Those that are shot and injured, they have to look for money themselves on how they can be able to take care of their loved ones. Some people have sold their properties, sold their houses to raise funds to be able to take care of their loved ones who have been kidnapped or who have been shot. And so this is something that is ongoing and is getting worse. And this is made worse. This is getting worse by the day. Worse by the day. And so we want to narrow it down to Nigeria. This is a youth organization, as I said before. We interact with the youth a lot and we try to find out what is the cause of this problem. As far as some of the youths are concerned, this is one of the ways they can make their voices known and heard. Because as far as they are concerned, the leaders are busy stealing money, whether they are governors, they are presidents, whatever position they are holding, local government chairman. The only thing they are focused on is how to steal, how to loot the treasury. And the young ones seems to take more comfort or solace in Yahoo, getting themselves involved in drugs and kidnapping. This seems to be pastime because the government is not making any reasonable effort to see how they can fix the nation. Instead, it's how they can loot the nation. People know what is going on. It's not. It's not. It's not. They can go on deceiving themselves and lying to themselves, but people know what is going on. And so we try as much as possible to see how we can be able to talk to our youths and how to calm them down so they can get themselves engaged in something positive. That's one of the reasons of why we are doing most of what we are doing is to help youthful population. And so in this book, Contending with the Dragons, it's Contending with the Dragons. It's a book written by Elo David, and it has 4 chapters. Chapter 1 will talk about the dragon of drug abuse. But chapter 2 will talk about the dragon of Yahoo or cybercrime, as it is known, cybercrime. We'll talk about the dragon of cult activities, and the dragon of sex. And finally, chapter 4, we'll talk about this dragon of sexual immorality. The dragon of sexual immorality. We saw it seems to be an unwritten code, but it's something that is real. The level of sexual immorality, we start from chapter 4, the dragon of sexual immorality. The issue of sexual immorality is getting worse now by the day, worse by the day. It's something that has consumed the church. It has not only consumed the church, it has also consumed the mosques. When we talk about church, it looks as if it's only church. No, but the mosque. You see what is happening between Afar and people in the members. We see what they go through. We hear news of what is happening on that age, 15 years, 16 years. We saw what happened. And unfortunately, we live in Africa, we live in Nigeria, where there seems to be no laws about these things. And so people are free to do whatever they do. And unfortunately, the Nigerian situation is getting worse now because we seem to have a lot of Islamic influence in taking decisions. Because we are not a country, we are not a Western nation, as it were. Our laws are not governed by the Western tradition, where it is seen as an offense. You are sleeping or you are dating with a girl that is 13, 14. In the Western world, it seems like an offense. Aaron Kelly today, right now, is having issues. He has been in prison. He has 30 years imprisonment. He was sent to prison when he was, I think, 57 or so. And he used to spend 30 years in prison because of what he did with minors, 13, 14. Having sex with minors, it seems to be, it's a crime in the Western world. But here it's not the same because we still have some Islamic influence. So how do you put a law when in Nigeria here, somebody tells you he's a Muslim and according to their religion, they can get married to a 13 years old girl, a 14 years old girl, because as far as they are concerned, Muhammad married a 6 years old girl and began to sleep with her when she was 9 years. So It's a terrible situation we find ourselves in Nigeria. But the situation of the level of sexual immorality now is pathetic. It's pathetic. We are not talking about sexual immorality that has to do with just, it's not just about the men alone. We have a lot of women, a lot of ladies. So we are looking at Elo Davis' book, Contending with the Dragons, the four dragons, four major dragons. And I say we are starting with chapter 1 on sexual immorality. I mean, it's no more in news that we have a lot of married women now who are involved in all levels of sexual immorality. As far as they are concerned, the situation of things that is getting worse, and it's made worse now because we have traditional display of, we say I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian. It's from the West, it's from Yoruba, it's from the East. Most of these things are not really very, very common to those who are not from the western part of this country. And it is becoming a major crisis today that we have to talk about it and try to see what to do to reduce it. Of recent, we saw what happened in Delhi's, the censors, they did a DNA test and they did a survey, and they discovered that with the thousands of situations in which they surveyed that, they discovered that 25%, it could be more, of the children might not belong to the biological father or the father or assumed biological father. What that means is that when a man has up to 4 children, for example, one of them is not his own. And so it's the level of immorality is getting worse, getting terribly worse. And with the South African dailies today, they try to say, the dailies, that they are making a lot of money from commercial sex workers. So they are thinking of how to legalize commercial sex so that they can use it. The government, they can be paying tax and the rest. So they want to make it genuine. That tells you where the world is going to. Just like in the US, where the years ago it was a crime, but now it's no more a crime, where people are now getting involved in taking up marijuana. It's no more a crime in the US as long as it's not for exports. What that means is that when you see young people or elderly people taking marijuana, it's no longer an offense right there in the US. It's just like taking up cigarettes. And so the consequences and the mental effects of marijuana is not considered when they took that decision. Something that was an offense years ago, of which you will end up in jail, is no more an offense now. It's now permitted, it's now a way of life, now acceptable. And we begin to see the consequences of that because it's a form of drug on its own. And we begin to see the consequences of that in the actions that the young people are taking. The actions that they are taking. So it's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's getting worse by the day. So we hear of situations, we've seen situations where people get favor through their sexual desire with the men. We saw what happened between the former Senate president, the Senate president, allegedly by one of the senators. Nobody knows how true it is. There's no independent investigation. Whether she's lying or not, nobody can really tell. But she was accusing the Senate president then of sexual advances. And this is something that is common in our schools. It's something that is common. I used to know a lecturer those days. When you get to his house off campus, you see various girls that are there. Some are lying down, some are sleeping, some are doing this. At least at any particular point in time, you see close to 6, 7 girls. And they are there because they needed to be there for them to pass their exams. But then we are not forced, but they believe you can use what you have to get what you need. If this is what they have, they feel it is they can use it to get what they need, what they have. And it's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate. And something has to be done about it because it's getting out of hand. You see people. I've been in a place before. I know someone. It's not as if I was told. It's somebody that I know very, very well. Very, very. I know her. I know her very, very, very well. There was a time that she went to the hotel to stay to have illicit sex with her boyfriend. She's married with 3 children, 4 children. And I think she has been making some 1 or 2 promises, financial promises, which she has not fulfilled. And the guy went to that very day and he soaked her clothes in the water. He soaked her clothes. In fact, she had to leave the hotel that day. The boy soaked the clothes and walked away. She had to tie the bedspread of the bed in the hotel and beg them so that she can be able to return it back. She tied it. That's what she tied and entered her car and drove back. And you ask yourself, this was years ago, and now it's getting worse. A lady came to see me then. She's somebody who has a master's degree. Came to see me then and said, our 3rd child does not belong to the husband. It belongs to the boyfriend. Our 3rd child, not the first, not the last, the 3rd child. So we are looking at contending with the dragons. And we are starting today. It's Elo David's book, Contending with the Dragons. You can get it anywhere. Most of Elo David's books are on Amazon. About 140 books on Amazon. You can go through any of those books. Elo David books on Amazon. And get any of those books on Amazon. And so we are looking at contending with the dragons. And the book is made up of, as I said, it's made up of 4 chapters. And one of the chapters is the dragon of sexual immorality. And we are trying as much as possible. We are starting, this is the 4th chapter of the book. And we are starting from the 4th chapter and move to the 1st chapter. But first we are starting with the 4th chapter. And the 4th chapter talks about the dragon of sexual immorality, which is getting terrible now. So we've seen many situations like that, many situations of married women running around chasing after young boys. It's so common, especially in a state like Lagos, and right now it has gone everywhere. So I'm talking about what I see, what my hands have handled. It's not just about what I heard or what I was told, what I've experienced. I mean, years ago, I used to have we have a lady then years ago who came to, we're very, very close, giving her counsel, praying, and the rest. She called me one night and said, she called me one day and said, she wants us to come and have night vigil in a house alone. Stay in a duplex. The husband does not stay with her. The husband is always traveling around the world. She has 3 kids. The 4th child is about 5 years old or so. I said, no, it will not be right. Just 2 of us, 2 boys, 2 of us, adults, to be in the same room, to be in the same house. It's very tempting. Maybe you trust yourself. I might not be able to trust myself. So I've seen many situations like that. There are some that have called me and said, Dave, please, I feel like having sex with you on a regular basis. So something has to be done. And it's getting pathetic. I mean, our those days, Our great grandparents those days, they were able to find a solution to it by then you used to have what they call magu and the rest to serve as a deterrent. Now we say no, we don't serve idol anymore. They go to church, they go to mosque. But some of the things they do is even worse than those that serve idols. Worse than those that serve idols. So how long are we going to continue to live like this? How long? If I, to, like I said before, it's sad. It's pathetic. Where about half of the children that the man has does not belong to her, belong to him. I've seen many situations that the children does not belong to them. The level of immorality by married women is pathetic. It's sad. It's very painful and it's very shameful. The level of immorality is not just with the unmarried now. It's getting even worse with the married. Worse with the married. There are things you see, there are things you hear, there are things you want to experience, and you begin to wonder, why is all these things happening? Why are we finding ourselves in this kind of situation? Why do we take this kind of action? Why do we do this? And you hear such things as, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. But it matters a lot. We must find a solution to put this to an end, where we say, no, this madness must not continue anymore. Because at the end of the day, we are not only destroying ourselves as individuals, as a nation, we are destroying ourselves. I saw a documentary some time ago, it was a world documentary, and in the whole world, Nigeria is seen as the fifth. I said the fifth, yes, if I'm not mistaken. Nigeria was seen as the fifth country, the nation on the earth, where you have massive sexual immorality among the married couples. Massive. I'm in a situation where they look at it and they say Nigeria, the married women in Nigeria are seen as the fifth nation on earth that you have so much level of sexual immorality. Nigeria as a nation. And it's sad. It's getting worse by the day. Somebody once said that I think it's the right time for men to take their children for DNA test, because they will discover that most of the children doesn't belong to them. But to me, I would just give an advice that it is better they just allow the sleeping dog to lie. Because like I said before, this is not just the beginning. It's something that has been there for a very long time. I mean, I used to know a woman, I think she has about 3 kids or so. She was staying in Festac then. It was the daughter then was about, the senior daughter there was about 16 years, if I'm not mistaken. She used to cook foods. Anytime she could prepare food and the rest, husband gave her money to prepare food. She takes half of it, half of the soup, stew, half of it to give to this 16-year-old girl to take to his solo, to give to the boyfriend. The stories are endless. Where do you want to start from? So like I said, we're looking at Pedro Davis' new book, Contending with the Dragons, and we talk about the level of the first dragon we are looking at today is the dragon of sexual immorality. Dragon of sexual immorality. And this has destroyed. I mean, I have there was a time a young lady came to see me, and she was having. She came to see me then because she had HIV/AIDS. She was crying and asking God, "What did I do?" HIV/AIDS. She has HIV/AIDS, and I jokingly asked her, Did you get the HIV from the wig? Because she was a lawyer. You get it from the wig you put on? She said, no. Level of it. It's getting worse now. We're not talking about the young girls anymore, the young boys anymore. We're talking about even the married women. The married women. And it's extremely common in the West. It has caused more harm than good. We hear stories of what is happening in our churches, in our mosques. It has become a pastime where people will make up their mind and say, this is what I want to do. Because it's not seen as something that is morally wrong anymore. It's seen as a way of life. As a way of life. That sexual immorality is now seen as a way of life. So one of the things we want to talk today is there are a lot of consequences. The more we talk about HIV/AIDS, the more people seem not to care. They seem not to care. And something must be done to, as I said, stop the increase of married women involved in sexual immorality. Sexual immorality. The dangers of it. It has consequences. It has consequences. It doesn't matter whether you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are a pagan. It doesn't matter the religion you belong to. I want to advise the young one. Most of what people are talking about, calling now, you go to churches, they talk about the generational poverty, generational causes. Most of this, it has nothing to do with the ancestors, my grandfather, seen the lineage. It's not it. It's most of these things are consequences of what they have done as a young boy, as a young girl. Paying the price. I mean, I remember many years ago, a girl woke me up. I was still in school then. A girl woke me up in sleep around 2 a.m. and she told me that she's a fish from the water. She said she's a fish. And she told me then that there are many of them in the school then. Talking about our Polytechnic that I went to. And she said among the girls that are in the water then, there are some that belong to different cults within the water. And she said if you sleep with any of those ones that belong to cults, no matter what you do with your hand, you will not make it in life. No matter how far you have tried, you will not be able to make it. Because you got yourself involved in sexual intercourse with those girls. These are girls from the water. And she says, if you are extremely lucky, you will die on time. And if you are not lucky, there's nothing you do that you ever succeed. So most of these things they talk about generational, that are consequences of what they have done. Because most of the boys, most of the guys, they are from the water. They have caused so much damage to people. So much damage. I know a young man then who is also from the water. He used to tell me then that when he's at home, when he's sleeping at home with his wife, there's this lady that comes to meet him in bed when he's sleeping. So what am I trying to say? We need to be careful. As a young boy and as a young girl, you need to be careful. You have tomorrow ahead of you. You will think you are having fun, but you are not having fun. You are destroying yourself. That's why it is said that there's pleasure in doing what is wrong, but there's consequences. Because the pleasure of it is just for a moment, but the consequences last forever. So please be very careful. This morning, I just want to advise our young ones to please be very, very, very careful, because there are consequences of sexual immorality. You have a whole lot of you ahead of you. The future is great. But you are the only one that can abort your glory, abort your future by the actions that you take today. And one of those actions is the actions of sexual immorality that has a way of cutting short your glory and making life difficult for you. And you, as a young man, as a movie we acted once, The Garden of Curses. I want to advise, especially the young men, that they should do away with married women. I don't know what they give to you, money, incentives here and this. It has consequences. And the consequences are devastating compared to whatever you think you are benefiting today. Whatever you think you are benefiting today cannot be compared with the sorrow and the pain that you will go through tomorrow. One of the highest employers of labor today in Nigeria is with the third or the fourth largest employer of labor is sexual immorality, especially married men looking for small married women, looking for small boys, young boys to go to sleep with. And if you dare it, you have cut short your glory. You have made yourself a prayer point where commercial pastors will want to use to make money because you get yourself involved with something that will end up destroying your tomorrow. So as I begin to round up on this, the next thing we are going to look at is the dragon of Yahoo. I'll go through that tomorrow. We are looking at making a book review on Elo Davis' new book, The Dangers Contending with the Dragons, the 4 major dragons that you contend with as a young man. One of them is sexual immorality. And the worst kind of sexual immorality is what we are talking about. Sleeping with married women. It has consequences. It has costs attached to it. The Bible says you will be like a loaf of bread. You will weigh nothing. People have done it before. They didn't go down well with them. And so I want to advise the young men that don't try it. Run away from it. Don't get yourself involved in it. Having sexual relationship with married women. Anywhere you are hearing me from the world, don't get yourself involved in it. They just want to destroy your life. No matter what you think that you benefit from financially from them or whatever it is, it has consequences. As a young man, you have tomorrow ahead of you. Great tomorrow, better tomorrow. And I don't want you to abort your glory by getting yourself involved with married women. It has devastating consequences. Consequences that you might not recover from. So you avoid it, run from it. Whatever you believe that with hard work, the help of God, you will get to your destination. With hard work and the work of God, you will get to your destination. You will become what you want to become. So run away from her. You that is hearing me now, any part of the world you are hearing me from, that you run away from her because she wants to destroy you. The Holy Book gave the book of Proverbs chapter 6, Proverbs chapter 5. He admonished us. He admonished a lot of young people that run away from a doorstep because it's the doorstep that leads to destruction. The doorstep that leads to death. It's not about the country you live in. It's about who you are and what you want to become. Run away from these ladies, married ladies that are looking for young boys to sleep with. And at times you begin to wonder how a lady will spend all her time. She's 35, she's 40. She spends time in the church on one form of prayer or the other, praying to get a husband, only for she to get married and she has a boyfriend. It's like now a normal thing, a normal routine in the world, especially in Nigeria today. It's like something that is normal. But we want to advise that it's not. It's abnormal. It will destroy your destiny. This BHF is a youth organization, and we are here to give counsel on what you need to do to live a good life, to have a better tomorrow. I want you to subscribe, comment on this BHF movie channel. Comment, subscribe to this BHF movie channel as we begin to look at giving the right counsel that will help you. It will help you. We're talking about what we know, what our hands have touched. And so we'll be able to tell you that don't do it. It's very, very common. The other day I was sitting with a lady we were discussing. I know her, she has a very big business center. And she was talking about how her friend, her very close friend, told the husband and her children that she's going for night vigil, not knowing that they were going to hotel to go and sleep with her baby boy. They call her baby boy. And they got there, the boy got her drunk. And unfortunately, the boy himself, when he was going there very day, he went with his friend also, unknowing to her. So when the lady woke up in the night to go and ease herself, she found out there were two naked boys that were in the same bed with her. So the two of them slept with her that night because she was drunk. She didn't know what was taking place. And it's so dirty, it's so pathetic. And so we are speaking against it now because because it is something that has destroyed many lives, and it's something that will destroy more lives. You think that there's something you want to benefit, but there's nothing you are benefiting. The consequences are devastating. Until we meet again tomorrow, we'll continue the book review on Contending with the Dragons, a new book by Elio David. I said chapter 1, talk about the dragon of sexual immorality that is written. A lot of youths today, a lot of boys, a lot of girls, their lives have been destroyed. And they think it's their foundation, it's their family, their family, their foundation. No, most of them, it's not about foundation. It's what they've done with their hands. Because these women will only destroy you. There are many of them now. Many of them get in touch with 5 women. Close to 3 of them have boyfriends outside they're sleeping with. I want to advise that don't sleep with married women. As a young boy, there are causes attached to it. There are consequences. And you will pay the price for it. Tomorrow, on the book review, tomorrow we'll look at what is called Yahoo Yahoo. It's a guy. In our time, it was called guy. Today, it's Yahoo Yahoo. The consequences and what is going on now and how it's destroying our future. The youths of today. So I want you to make a comment, subscribe to this YouTube channel, make a comment, and give a thumbs hill to show that there's some things you are learning from it, and also YouTube will know that need more of this program. We want to get to the youth worldwide. One of the biggest causes today is sleeping with married women. One of the biggest causes and havoc that is destroying our youth and our nation today is having sexual relationship with married women. Take good care of yourself until we meet again. This is Elio David. Take care of yourself.